I'm here with the son of Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump. Eric Trump is the Executive Vice President of Development and Acquisition for Trump Organization, and we're here in Trump Towers today. Eric, thanks so much for having us.
Welcome to our home.
I want to start with the Trump Organization and understanding who's in charge, who's running it these days, especially amid the campaign. How involved is your dad?
Yeah, well, it's really Ivanka, Don, and I. My father's put 100% of his attention on the campaign. It's what he cares about. He's groomed us very, very well. We've been in the business for a very long time, and we know the properties and assets and everything else better than anybody. And his sole focus is let's make America, great again. He sees what's happening across the country. He sees the nonsense. He sees the $19 trillion worth of debt and going up, very quickly. He sees, $150 billion going to countries like Iran. Countries that really detest us and hate our guts and hate all the things that we care about and we stand for as Americans. He sees an educational system that's totally broken, that's 30th in the world. He sees a military that's depleted with flying planes that were made in the 1940s and 1950s. It's really, really sad, and it's bothered him, and it's the reason he hopped into the race. So that's his sole focus, and Don, Ivanka, and I are certainly by his side, but we're also running the day-to-day of the business, and the business has never been better.
And focusing on that business, since you're so involved day to day, I want to dive into that a little bit more. In your father's election financial disclosure, he talked about the Trump brand and put an estimated value of it of about $3 billion on it. Given that brand value is so important to your business and the businesses that you run, do you have any sense of if that brand value has changed since the start of the election?
Yeah, listen, I think if anything, it's probably gone up, right? He's the most talked about person in the world. The energy that's behind him, the movement that he's created, this kind of anti-politician, America first movement is really endemic. I can't walk down the street without getting mobbed by people saying, tell your father he's got to go all the way. He's got our full support. Our whole community is behind him. I see that all day. And if you go overseas, and I spend a lot of time in the international arena, doing what I do every day, building projects, and they're as fascinated about American politics as Americans are. Sometimes more fascinated, and it's amazing. So, he's probably got the biggest microphone in the world right now, and that's been fantastic. And we have projects all over the world. If you look at our projects in the Philippines, if you look at our projects in Vancouver, if you look at our projects in Central and South America, these projects are 100% sold out at the biggest numbers of any buildings, the highest price per square foot. The hotels are doing incredible. The golf courses are doing incredible. We're doing great as a company. Now, politics obviously within any country can be slightly polarizing, and you see that. But I think the brand is bigger, better, has a louder voice, and is growing faster than ever before. In fact, we're opening 5 hotels in the remainder of this year, and it's an amazing story to tell.
And of course, the campaign has gotten a lot of support, but certainly a lot of negative press as well, and many people against the message of the campaign. Do you think that in any way has impacted the business?
Yeah, honestly, they probably weren't our people anyway. They probably weren't the people staying at our hotels and playing our golf courses. I know if you go to any of our courses, you speak to our members. Every single one of them is wearing a "Make America Great Again" hat, and they love what we're doing. And they love somebody who's bold and brash and speaks his mind and doesn't pander and hasn't been in political circles for hundreds of years, and has never, has always signed the front of a check and not the back of a check. And I think people like that. And hey, if you are those people and you like that bold message, you're probably the people who are staying at our properties. If you're not that person, you probably weren't to begin with. And but I can tell you the hotels are doing the best they've ever done. The golf courses are 100% full. They're doing phenomenally well. Our projects overseas are all sold out. And again, the growth of our company year after year is just exponential. The growth of our hotels, the growth of our other properties is exponential. So we're doing great as a family. We're doing great in politics, and we're having a lot of fun.
Let's dive a bit more into the business. The Trump Organization focused for a long time on traditional real estate development and really has transitioned, your father becoming really a licensing king. Has the core competitive advantages or strategy of the company focused more on marketing and licensing?
No, actually, I would say we do far more equity than we do licensing. Right, there are certain places in the world that make sense to go in and license. If we're going to go to Dubai, if we're going to go to the Philippines or one of these countries, obviously we don't know the the culture. We don't know the individuals. We don't speak the language. So makes a lot of sense to go out, get the best development partner there, the people who have the best land, who have been there forever, who know how to get things built, who know the contractors, right? I mean, real estate is such a local trade. For us to go in and try and compete against those people, not knowing the language and not kind of having a sense of that culture in a very different part of the world, doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But still, if you look at the projects that we're doing, we're far heavier on the equity side. We're building Old Post Office right now, 1100 Pennsylvania Avenue. This is a massive, massive hotel. It'll be the best hotel in Washington, D.C. We just finished Doral. We built it 100% in cash. That's our own money. We just bought Doonbeg in Ireland. We just bought Turnberry in Scotland. And I could go on and on and on with the list. We are heavily equity focused. And in the places where we need to implement a license model because it doesn't make sense for us as an American company to build, we'll certainly do that to be in the best spots.
Do you have any sense of what percentage of the business is licensing, just to get a sense overall?
I don't know, probably 35. So, I mean, I'm guessing at it, but we deploy hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars a year in equity projects, around the country and around the world. And, we've been on a buying spree in the last 10 years.
Let's move to the golf course. It's been a big focus of yours. You were just in Scotland a few weeks back to reopen the Trump Turnberry, which was a big success for you. The PGA, though, recently announced that it's moving the 2017 Cadillac Championship from the Trump Doral to Mexico. What's been the impact of the election on the golf business? I know you mentioned a lot of supporters are wearing the shirts on the courses.
You know that has nothing to do with Trump, right?
Well, they weren't able to get enough sponsorships, and
No, they had a sponsor. The title sponsor wanted to continue. They had a sponsor down in Mexico that wanted to pay a lot more money. So that's why they ultimately moved. But we have an unbelievable relationship with the PGA Tour, and we have an unbelievable relationship with the PGA of America. And in fact, we have so many tournaments upcoming. We have the 2017 Women's at Bedminster, one of our courses, right across the river in New Jersey. We have the 2022 PGA Championship, also at Bedminster. We have the 2017 Senior PGA Championship down in Washington, D.C. I mean, we have a million tournaments. I mean, that's one of the things that we do so well because we have the best courses, in the world. So,
and you're looking to expand further
over time. Tournaments move, and if they can get, if a title sponsor, here in the U.S. is offering X, and somewhere overseas they're offering 2 times X, well, that's logically where any tournament's going to go. And these things come and go, and but we have tremendous amount of tournaments. We do very, very well.
Well, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thanks a lot, Nicole.